Hey guys, this is Mr. Walker, and here's a brief tutorial on how to do Lesson 9 for Unit 3 of Distance Learning APUSH. If you look at our folder here, we see for Lesson 9, it's about the Red Scare and how the Cold War is affecting Americans at home. And it's only a one-day assignment, so it's due Friday, and you hopefully are starting it on Friday, if not earlier. Here's a link to the video directions that you're watching right now. Here's a link to our directions for the assignment. Please read those. And then here's the template you'll be submitting. And here's where you submit the templates. You'll click on this link, make a copy, make it public so I can see it. You'll complete it. Then you'll submit your version of it here. If you look on our feed on the right, we see that for Friday, attendance is due. If you've not yet done it for the week, you should do it now so you get the 1 point. Reminder, you only have to do attendance once a week now to not lose points for it. But if you choose to do it every day, you do get a point for each day. And then the Lesson 9 assignment template, boom, this is due as well. If you click on this, definitely a little bit lighter than the last two assignments. The first part, there's only 2 parts to Lesson 9, is just a bunch of like little links. There's 2 short videos here, one that compares the first Red Scare from the 1920s to the second Red Scare, and says how they're kind of similar and how they're different from each other. That second Red Scare is what's going on in the 1950s in the Cold War, about 5 minutes long. Second video here is a TED Ed about McCarthyism and Joseph McCarthy and all this communist witch hunting that took place in the 1950s. Does a really good job of explaining it. Again, 5 minutes, so it does a nice job covering the content so you can hear it, know it, move on. And then the next 2 links are just kind of fun ones. Link 3 takes you to a website that basically is like a big Google map of the Earth. And it takes all the bombs that have been created and tested, nuclear bombs, so atomic and hydrogen, and allows you to kind of put those bombs anywhere on the globe that you want to see what kind of destruction they would cause. It is a pretty grim sight, and it's kind of morbid, but it's also a great way of showing like why people were so terrified, because it wasn't just the idea that like a bomb would blow up in your town and your life would be ruined and destroyed, you'd be killed. But like if a bomb was dropped in the neighboring town or like in a neighboring state, you would still feel the destruction of it because of how large these bombs got. So I would encourage you to click on this link. You should test out the first atomic bomb used, which is Little Boy, which was dropped in Hiroshima. And I don't know, place it somewhere that you know so you can kind of see like the full range of its blast radius and what it would do. And then you should take Zorbumba, which is the largest bomb that's ever been detonated. They actually detonated it at half capacity, so it's even bigger. It was made by the Russians. You should take that one and put it somewhere so you can see like in a short period of time how much more powerful these bombs became, and like really like the difference between an atomic bomb like Little Boy and a hydrogen bomb like Zorbumba, which is the weapons we have today. You play around with it, just kind of see it. That's all that really is there for. Link 4 is a 10-minute PSA. It's quite famous. It's the duck and cover PSA. I would watch it. Kids like you, and especially kids younger than you, would have watched this in high school in the 1950s, even in the 1960s, and it was a way of preparing for a nuclear attack. Brinkmanship and massive retaliation were 2 big foreign policy components of the 1950s. So the fear that like at any moment the Soviets might nuke us, and then we try and nuke them back, or if we nuke the Soviets first, then they would try and nuke us in retaliation if they could. Because of that fear and that unknown, people would practice nuclear testing protection activities like you would do like for like a fire drill today or a tornado drill. And so this PSA kind of walks you through the idea of ducking and covering. This PSA gets ridiculed today because it's kind of ridiculous. It makes the assumption that like if you're out in a field and a bomb goes off, you should just duck and cover somewhere and you'll be fine. So it's kind of funny to watch. It's humorous, and it shows the anxiety of the period for people living at home. Keep in mind that there's lots of people in the United States that are building fallout shelters in their backyard because they're that worried about a nuclear attack. So the first half of this activity is just a bunch of fun little links. Nothing to submit, but please do watch them. They add quite a bit to understanding the time period and the feel of the era without requiring a lot of work on your end. Okay, part 2 is what you actually do need to submit in this template, and that is another modified DBQ, and it's going to be about the Cold War in the 1950s and its impact on our foreign policy and on the home front. You'll click on it here. There's 8 documents that are listed, and you'll look at those documents, and you're going to fill in this pre-write graphic organizer. So for document A, the first one, you'll tell me what the main point of that document is, like what's it telling you, what's it all about, and then you'll identify here, how does that document, how can you use it to answer this prompt here? How can you use that document to make a claim or argument that supports this? You'll do that for B and C and D, E, F, and G. So you have 8 documents. And then for 3 of these documents, after you've found the main point and figured out a way to use them all, for 3 of them, you'll do HIP. You'll take one of the aspects of HIP, historical context, purpose, point of view, intended audience, whatever, and you'll do that for 3 of the documents. So maybe you do historical context for document A, maybe you do intended audience for document E, whatever, you do it for 3 documents. And then the last part is, or like the final 2 parts, right here, you corroborate the documents. So you put them into groups just like you did in the last lesson, lesson 8. So you look at your documents, you need to use at least 6 of them. You find 6 documents, you put them into groups that can be used to answer this prompt. And then the final part is you take those corroborated groups and you answer the prompt with a qualifier, and you give me a clear line of reasoning, which is your groups, and you post it right here. So another DBQ activity. You'll be doing a lot of these because, again, your test is doing a DBQ. And this is really just practicing those pre-writing skills that you will absolutely be doing in a time situation in a couple weeks here. All right, so that's lesson 9. Got some fun videos. Don't spend too much time on them, but check them out. And then a DBQ, modified DBQ pre-write for practicing for the AP exam. Submit this by 11:59 p.m. Friday, and starting week 4, our next lesson, we'll begin reviewing for the AP exam. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend.